One of the most common types of questions I get in chats while I'm streaming is about equipment and what's the best bang for your buck? How can you start streaming without spending a bajillion dollars? And that's a hard question to ask nowadays, because as streaming becomes more mainstream, streamers become more professional, and the quality of stream quality, maybe level of stream quality, that makes more sense. As that goes up, so does of course the price of equipment, and the bar continues to rise at where kind of the entry level is. And over the last couple of years, streaming has become very, very expensive. Enter the Avermedia streaming starting kit, or the Live Streamer 311. I don't really understand their naming scheme, which also, by the way, abbreviates to the BO311, not the LS311. There's my first piece of feedback. Don't really understand why Avermedia is naming it this way. I really feel like it needs to be called the streaming starting kit. I feel like a lot more people would know about it. I didn't know it existed until they emailed me about it, and it's been out for a couple months. But it comes with a capture card, a webcam, and a microphone. All three for a total of $200, which, by the way, $200 is less than my current capture card. It's less than my current microphone, and it's less than my current camera. But what I would really like to test today is, with this really low budget pricing, what are you giving up? If we were to compare the webcam to the next most comparably priced webcam, and the capture card to the next most comparably priced capture card, and the microphone to the next most comparably priced microphone, is it worth going super budget and picking up this super low cost package? Or should you save up a little bit more and pick up the next best thing? So let's open this up, then let's take a look at what the next best thing is actually going to be, what its cost is, and what the differences between them are. All right, capture card, microphone, webcam. Let's set these all up. Before we get started, I would like to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of this video, Owned.tv. Owned is a one-stop shop for all your stream aesthetic needs, whether it's overlays, panels, profile picture. And the best part about their overlay packages, in my opinion, is that they're all modular. So if you take a look at this Rodan package that you're looking at right now, let's say you, your friends, or your whole team picks up the same package, you can pick and choose different parts or different areas. If you want to do a green screen, if you want to have a full rectangular camera, you can insert different modules so none of you will have the exact same looking overlay. So if you'd like to make the smart move like many from the community have done, feel free to use the link in the description below that will support the channel, as well as you can use code ALPHA for a discount if you are using it the day this video goes live. The last day of January is the last day to get 60% off. However, I asked them if we could extend some kind of discount for the community, and they did say they'd allow 40% off moving forward after January. So again, code ALPHA, get a huge discount on your package. Cool. Also, by the way, if you have any questions about this equipment that we're looking at today, if I share some stuff, you want to know some more things, feel free to jump into my Twitch chat. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Link to that in the description below. Let's get to testing these things. So the first thing I want to see here is how much these devices would cost individually if I were to buy them. Let's say you want to buy one or two of these things. You don't want to buy the whole package. How much is that going to cost you? So the first thing, the Live Gamer Mini. Live Gamer Mini, $99. Cool. The Live Streamer Cam. This one comes in at $80. This better be a good camera. The Avermedia AM310. They gotta work on their naming. Oh, okay, B&H, $60, $110 at Best Buy. So if you were to buy these all separately, it'd be $60. Let me make sure this is new, by the way. I wanna make sure this isn't like a used copy. All right, so 60 plus 80 is 140 plus 100, so that makes $240. You're saving $40 by picking up this package. Not too bad. That's enough money saved to pick up some extra lights behind you, or just to not spend $40, I guess. So let's do this. Let's find the next comparable devices to all three of these. Let's compare them side by side. The next ones are probably gonna be more expensive, except for probably the webcam. An $80 webcam, I'm probably gonna put up against the Logitech C920. Let's see if it's worth an extra $60. We're gonna put this one up against Elgato HD60S, which is kind of their entry-level capture card on the Elgato side, which as of right now, it's $163. Now, what I can tell just from looking at them, the main difference between the two, neither of them do above 1080p 60, however, this one is USB 2. So the throughput's gonna be a little bit lower on this guy, the latency's gonna be a little bit higher. The Elgato HD60S came out, and it's either one of the first, if not the first, USB 3 capture cards, allowing it to have instant gameplay, meaning you look in your OBS preview window, and at max, you're 1 or 2 frames behind on your preview there. Whereas with my experience with USB 2 capture cards, generally the OBS preview was sometimes up to a whole second behind. So let's see what the difference in quality and delay is on the capture cards. Let's compare the image quality, the camera quality between this and the C920. Let's compare this $60, was it $60? It was. This $60 microphone with another USB microphone I've got, kind of one of the more popular ones. I don't want to use something more expensive like a Yeti X, which is like $170, $180. Let's go with instead the HyperX quadcast. I would go with the regular Yeti, it being much closer in price, but I don't have one. So we're gonna go with the quadcast being $140. It's over double the cost, so let's see how much of a quality difference there is if you're paying double for a microphone. All right, first things first, let's look at the capture cards. I got them both set up in OBS over here. They're split screen, so you can see them both at the same time. They're both receiving the exact same image, a mirrored image, so theoretically, if they were the same capture card, they'd look exactly the same. The first thing I'm noticing, by the way, there is not a huge delay on this Mini, which is fantastic. I thought with the USB 2, it'd be like USB 2 capture cards I was using, you know, 4 years ago, and there'd be a whole second delay. We'll take a look later when we're shooting some guns so we have something solid to track, and we'll see exactly how many frames behind it is. But if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably 2 to 3 frames behind. Let's jump into some training real quick and take a look at the colors, take a look at the movement, make sure everything looks the same. But this should be pretty straightforward. Another thing I'm noticing, because I'm not sure if it's just the delay that's throwing me off, but it looks like there's some stuttering going on the Mini, on the Avermedia. You guys are getting to see a little bit of gameplay footage here, some rapid movements, some running around, some bright colors. The colors look pretty similar to me. It looks like the one on the left is a tiny bit darker, and it could be possible that the one on the right is a little overexposed. You can see some more details in the clouds in the Live Gamer Mini, so I'm guessing that it's actually probably a little bit over contrasted, just minimally in the Elgato. I don't think the colors are anything that an audience is gonna notice on Twitch, is the most important part. They're both very good. The main thing I'm concerned about is how smooth the footage is. So let's go ahead and take this footage and let's run it through, kind of analyze it frame by frame and see if there are any frame skips. All right, so let's take a look at this footage. Keep in mind this was recorded using NVENC on a 10 series card. So their Pascal encoder, not their new Turing encoder. You're gonna get some artifacting, not the highest quality. That's not due to the capture cards. I just wanna look at stuttering, smoothness. If there's any extra, there shouldn't be any extra tearing on a capture card. First things first, let's see how many frames behind it is. I wanna find the exact moment when I shoot this gun, which is that frame. So let's see how many more frames it takes to get to this exact point on the left side here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it looks like the Avermedia capture card is 4 frames behind. So if each frame is about 17 milliseconds, we're talking about 68 milliseconds behind, 65 to 68 milliseconds behind. Really not a big deal. So the delay isn't what bothers me. However, as I go through this, it looks like we are dropping quite a few frames. Let's go over to a point where I'm running and let's go over 60 frames and let's count up the dropped frames. If you don't know what I'm looking for, by the way, I'm looking for matched frames. So when I move to the right 1 frame, the left side doesn't actually change images because it's duplicated the frame, meaning it's dropped a frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 right there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. Okay, we dropped 8 frames out of 60, which goes to a little over 10% of the frames being dropped. I wouldn't consider this like a deal breaker on the capture card by any means. I mean, you're getting the card for less than 1/3 of the cost of the Elgato. And for some people, that $60 difference is a big deal. Really should have done this with X264 though. I didn't even realize it when I was recording. I was doing old NVENC tests on it. That's why I had it set to there. The quality between the two is gonna be about exactly the same. The only 2 differences are gonna be the 4 frame delay, which is not a big deal. It's important for you to know if you're running your audio through something like a Go XLR and you're not capturing your audio with the capture card, they will be 4 frames out of sync. Again, I don't think it's a big deal. The bigger deal is that it's dropping more than 10% of the frames. So that's something to keep in mind, and if that's worth $60 to you or not, because I know $60 can be quite a bit. But let's move on to the cameras. All right, so I've got the C920 set up here. We plugged in the Avermedia, and I've been having issues getting it to show up on the screen here. See, this is the issue I've been having with this camera. This is in general the issue that I have with a lot of Avermedia stuff. The C920 is completely plug and play. You plug it in, it shows up in OBS. With the Avermedia, I had to go to their website and install software, and then inside that software, I had to install 2 more softwares, whether they were drivers or other apps. It didn't really explain. And now it said, like, it picked up the camera in there, and now it's saying it's being occupied by idle 0. I restarted the PC. I cannot get the camera to work on this computer. And like I said, this is the frustration I have with some of Avermedia stuff. Their hardware is generally, the quality of their stuff is generally fantastic, but their software and their drivers and their website is so jumbled up that I would be afraid to recommend this camera to you, because a lot of you will have this issue. Now, we can plug it into the other PC. I actually tried this earlier and I got it to work on the other PC. I don't know what the variable was there, but let's go ahead and plug them in on the second PC just so you can see the difference in quality between the C920 and the Avermedia camera. So here we have the 2 cameras. Let me make sure this one's in focus. Can I even adjust the focus of this? Nope, focus is grayed out. Okay, is there an autofocus going on? I don't think it's out of focus. I think that's as good as it gets. Okay, let's see if there's software I can use to, just in case it is out of focus. This is pretty bad. Let me just adjust the colors, I guess, a little bit. Brighten things up. All right, I'm gonna let you make the call on this one. Which camera do you think is better? Okay, so fortunately, I actually had 2 of these. What I was using was the brand new one they just sent me. Let me try it with the older one I had and see if it's just a flawed camera. I'm gonna try to give them every benefit of the doubt here. The problem is we're getting way overexposed here. You can see in this whole section of my face here. So we have to go to configure video. Kind of like we did in the, if you watched me do it in the cheap webcams video, you can see exactly how I did this. The problem is if you turn down brightness, it's still overexposed. We're just lowering the brightness of an overexposed image. If we adjust the backlight composition, all right, -4 to -5. That's one adjustment. It looks like the clarity is a little bit better, but there's absolutely no way I can justify going with the Avermedia camera over the C920 in this situation. In fact, the C920 looks fantastic in this lighting. You can see they're both pretty much the same field of view. One of them's not wider than the other. I look the same distance from the camera on both of them. But just in general, the coloring, the lighting, the clarity on the C920 is definitely a lot better. And for being $30 cheaper than the Avermedia camera, that's an important note. All right, cool. Last thing, let's go into the microphones. I got 2 microphones in front of me. The one on the left is obviously the Avermedia. It's like $60 USB microphone. The one on the right is the HyperX quadcast, which last I checked was 140. I should double check. I'm not going to. Last I checked it was 140. Oh, it's 110 now. That's important. I'm glad I double checked. Okay, so a little bit less than double the cost, the Avermedia quadcast. The Avermedia quadcast. The HyperX quadcast. It's been a long day, you understand. Now they both have headphone jacks on the back, which is very important, and they both have a volume knob as well as a mute button. But the Avermedia has something interesting. It's got a little switch, but it changes from monitoring your voice so you can hear yourself in the microphone or hearing your PC. We're gonna see if you can do both, because it's weird that they wouldn't let you do both. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely hearing the PC right now, and if I switch to, there we go, switch to monitor, oh, I definitely hear my voice now, but I don't hear the PC. So you can choose, you choose one or the other, which if you don't care to hear your own voice, oh, and it doesn't, the volume knob doesn't change anything. It mutes it. If you click in the volume knob, it's a mute button and it will mute your voice, but you can't change the volume of the monitoring. If we go back to PC, it's definitely a volume knob for the PC when it's coming through. And if you mute it, but the mute button doesn't work. Oh, so the mute button is just muting your voice. Okay, I get it. The mute button is for someone walks in the room, you want to mute yourself and talk, have a conversation, you can mute your voice. but the volume knob is only for PC sound, which it only changes if you set it to PC. So what I assume the mindset behind this is that they assume that if you ever want to go with some kind of interface, you want to plug this in to a mixer or a Go XLR or something, you can go out of the headphone jack into there, and then you can set it to monitor. And so all it's doing is sending your voice over to that mixer. It's not sending the PC volume, which is most likely going to be plugged into the monitor anyway. So kind of nice, but it's weird that it won't let you do both. Anyway, let's take a look at the sound quality. All right, this is a check at my normal speaking volume into the Avermedia, I don't even remember what this mic is called. The AM310, of course, the AM310. And this is the exact same volume speaking into the HyperX quadcast. This is my voice getting a little bit loud on the Avermedia AM3, I already forgot it, the Avermedia mic. And this is my voice getting a little bit loud on the HyperX quadcast. All right, let's take a look at what both of these sounded like. We got both of our microphones in this recording right here. I'm gonna be throwing on headphones, taking a listen to see if I hear a difference between the two. All right, this is a check at my normal speaking volume into the Avermedia, I don't even remember what this mic is called. The AM310, of course, the AM310. And this is my same exact volume speaking into the HyperX quadcast. This is my voice getting a little bit loud on the Avermedia AM3, I already forgot it, the Avermedia mic. And this is my voice getting a little bit loud on the HyperX quadcast. All right. Listening to both microphones. So I ran this test first without headphones on, just coming out of the computer speakers and out of the phone speakers, and I didn't hear a difference, which is really important because a lot of people watch Twitch either right on their laptops or right on their phones. And it was almost indistinguishable in quality between the two microphones, which is really impressive because one of them is $60 and one of them is $110. However, listening to it with headphones, there's definitely a little bit more presence and clarity out of the HyperX, which you can expect from a microphone that costs double the amount. But I have to say, this microphone alone is probably the most impressive product of the three. Its quality is anything a starting streamer needs. It might not be that pretty, but it also comes with a stand where you can attach it to a boom arm if you need. It also comes with that option to output the microphone to a mixer. It is a little weird that you can't listen to the game and monitor your voice into your headphones at the same time, but I know a lot of streamers that don't care about that. So if you don't care about that, this might be a great cheap little microphone for you to start with. All right, my final thoughts on the whole thing. I'm just happy that there's some budget options for streamers that are just starting, that don't care about having the world's greatest quality right off the bat. They just want to start and then start saving up for the rest of the stuff. And for that, I think this is a great option. I'm a little concerned about the camera. That was definitely the worst product out of the three. It was $30 more than the C920 and very visibly worse. The capture card is fine. The dropped frames are a little bit of a bummer. I was really impressed with the latency on it, that even though it's USB 2, it was only 4 frames behind. But I wonder if trying to push through that latency is what causes the dropped frames, because they're trying to push it through so fast. I would much rather have them be 10 frames behind and drop 0 frames. But all in all, not a terrible capture card. The microphone was the most surprising one to me. If you're gonna go out and buy a USB microphone and you don't care about hearing your own voice back in your headset, I think it's the best value out of the whole thing. And it's hard for me to give like a solid advice on would I buy this, because it totally depends on your budget. If all you have is $200, I would absolutely say go out and buy it. If you have $160, by the way, and you don't need a microphone, it's important to know that there is a duo version that just has the webcam and the capture card, which is kind of hilarious because those were the only 2 out of the 3. They took out the best product out of the big one. If it were up to me, if I were a budget streamer just starting out and I had a little bit more wiggle room than $200, what I would probably do is I would go for that Avermedia microphone. I think it's a great deal. I would save the $30 on the webcam and go with the C920. And then using that $30 that I saved, I would definitely buy a little bit more modern USB 3 capture card like the Elgato HD60S. Now keep in mind, because that doesn't come with a bundle, the bundle itself saved about $40, you're gonna end up spending, I think the math comes out to $270. So it's a $70 difference for a much better camera and a moderately better capture card. And as usual, if you think there's something I missed or you have any questions about it, either leave it in a comment down below or just come ask me. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, link to that in the description below. Also, we have an amazing community of about like 40,000 people in the Discord who I'm sure have opinions and advice and have used different products that you might want to get some opinions on. So feel free to join the Discord, link in the description below. And as always, happy streaming. I feel like I should text Kenzie. You know what? I'm not going to. Oh my gosh.